Today we're going to be watching Oklahoma City Police Chase, October 26th, 2016. Let's watch it now. Let's watch it now.
We're on going to Baltimore Chopper 4 right now. As you can see, this chase is on. It's one we were telling you about momentarily, just a few moments ago.
Let's watch it now.
And we want to check in with John Welsh in Baltimore Chopper 4. John, give us your exact location now and kind of tell us what you can see.
Yeah, right now, as you can see, he's following this. It's a Dodge Magnum here. We're turning, I believe this is southbound on, should be May here from Reno. We're coming up underneath the underpass to I-40, coming into Stockyard City. He's being pursued by Oklahoma City. They've been following him for about 5 or 6 minutes, or that we know of at least for 5 or 6 minutes here. Luckily, he's kind of stayed out of a lot of traffic and hasn't really put everybody else or all the other motorists in jeopardy here. But you can see, obviously, we got 2 patrol cars, 3 right behind him as he's southbound here on May coming through Stockyard City here, Ken.
John, we got some radio traffic indicated this possibly had something to do with an armed robbery, getting into a little heavier traffic there on South May. And as John said, certainly other drivers are possibly in danger crossing over the center line there, as you can see. Such a dangerous situation. Oklahoma City Police always try to back off, let the choppers kind of keep an eye on these guys.
He's coming up.
Go ahead, John.
He's coming. The train tracks, Kent, is there's a train on the track, so he's going to come right through here. And now he's going down the road, or the right next to the train tracks, just north of the tracks. There's 3 cars and 1 SUV following him. It's going to dead end here because there's a creek. There's a creek right on the other side of this, Kent, so there's really nowhere for him to go.
Looks like it's going to be bailing out here pretty soon. He's looking behind him to see where the officers possibly are. Got to know that car's had some damage done to it after you saw it just when it hit that ditch right there. Realizes he doesn't really have anywhere to go. Looks like he's going to try to take off again. You can see the steam coming from the front of that car where possibly the car has been damaged there, where the radiator is possibly damaged. Maybe that car has died on him right there. We're not sure. John, what can you see?
Yeah, well, you can see, Kent, obviously there's probably 4 police cars right behind him. They're kind of sheltering themselves behind the door. You saw him get out, try and run. Looked like he was trying to get in front of the car, kept going. Then he went and got in, shut the door. So he's in there. Obviously, like you said earlier, the radiator's broken, but apparently he's going to take off again. The other side, we tried to look in there briefly. It looks like he has a broken window and maybe some cardboard covering it. But this ends right here in a creek, Kent, so he can go about 200 or 300 more yards, and then it's going to dead into a creek, and I don't know if he's going to try and jump the top of the tracks there, or if this is going to hopefully come to an end of the pursuit here.
Well, we're just going to watch it with you, John. Yeah, there's the creek. He doesn't have a whole lot of options here. We're going to watch it. Hopefully he'll just give himself up peacefully as the officers are coming up behind him, no doubt, and it looks like that's what he plans to do. Good news there, John Welsh.
This is a good ending here, Ken.
Yeah, very good ending. But we're going to stay with it until the officers make this, apprehend this fella right here. Yeah, he needs to probably get out of that vehicle. They're taking it easy, though. They're giving him commands, obviously, on the scene. We're going to stay with you there, John Welsh and Baltimore Chopper 4. Looks like a pretty heavy police presence there.
Yeah, definitely. There's 4 cars there, and I'm guessing another unmarked pickup truck there in the bottom right of the screen. As you can see, he had his hands out, and then police are giving him commands, so I don't know if he's bringing his hands back in to try and open the door, or, this is one of those deals, especially in armed robbery, you don't know if he has a gun or what else he has in there. So it's definitely a high-tense situation for the police here, Ken.
Yeah, we saw him take off one time. I mean, desperate people do desperate things. There's no telling what this guy might try to do. Got to know that radiator certainly a big issue for him, as we can see that's still steaming away right there. Again, he had his hands sticking out of the windows. If you're just now joining us, he had his hands sticking out the windows just a second ago. I thought, well, here he goes again. I'm thinking maybe he's just going to pop the door open and give himself up. Maybe, possibly, there's some damage to it. We saw him open the door earlier, so he should be able to open it without any trouble. Officers obviously keeping cover because, like you said, we believe this started as part of an armed robbery a little bit earlier. This whole chase got underway in the area of Agnew and Southwest 29th, and then covered some ground, went up to Reno for a while. He came back on South May, came down South May, ran into that train that was on the tracks, as John mentioned, so he had to turn there. And that's how he wound up out here on this little embankment, if you will, after driving for what looked like to be about a quarter mile.
Yeah, that's right. He's got his hands up like he wants the police to come up there and get him out of the car, and obviously they don't want to go up there and get him out. I wouldn't either. They're telling him to get out of the car, you know, because ideally what you'd want him to do is reach out, open the door from the outside, and then get out and then follow your commands. They're going to make you step back, you know, turn around, face the vehicle, get on your knees, and then they'll go up and arrest the guy. Because, you know, if this was an armed robbery, looking at it from the police's perspective, it could be he's trying to bait him to come up there so he could, you know, shoot him or harm him in whatever way. So, I mean, obviously he should give himself up. That's what they're trying to get him to do. So this could hang out here a little bit before he decides really what he wants to do, Ken.
It looks like he's yelling out the window, so he's communicating with the police in some way, what we believe is going on. Of course, we can't hear any of it, but
the past at least 5-10 minutes.
So hopefully they're going to be getting this guy to step out, like John said. The perfect way to do that would be for him just to reach out and open the handle there, the outside handle. You don't really want him just popping the door open, because then it's hard for you to see what he might have in his hand or anything else like that. And whether he could, you know, quickly get out and maybe jump back behind his vehicle, barricade himself there, and possibly start firing. And you never know what could happen. Our officers put their lives on the line all the times in these types of situations. They are professionals. They know what they're doing. They're keeping their distance. They're staying behind their vehicles, but they are certainly in danger, as we believe this was an armed robbery suspect. John, it looks like everybody's being patient.
It is. It's going to be a standstill. You know, the nice thing about the location here, Ken, is it's out in the middle of nowhere. So you're at the very end of the tracks. There's no houses around here. You're kind of at the end of the industrial complex. There's a lumber yard that's just on the east side of that, and actually on the west side of the creek too, just a little bit southwest of there. So this really couldn't have happened at a better place if something were bad to happen, because there's not anybody else around, you know, so you don't have to worry about you know, if it ended up being a shootout or something, that you could hit some bystanders. You're kind of in a secluded area. Obviously, he's out of the car talking to him. He probably wants him to come up there and get him, and obviously they don't want to do that, because they don't know, like I said earlier, what he has on him. So if he would just follow the commands, they would end here. But it looks like this is about to come. Well, they tased him, so this will come to a good ending here, Ken.
Okay, it looks like they played it safe. He wasn't following their commands. He did not get on the ground, as they were obviously telling him to do. He was tased. They're getting him handcuffed at this time. So, fortunately, everyone's safe on the scene. They're checking that vehicle, though, to make sure that nobody is inside the car. And being very careful about
Absolutely.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, you'd want to make sure that the threat is completely gone. I mean, because they don't know